everyone, I am Dr. Olena Berezovska, and I have another podcast with amazing woman because we chat before the podcast and I looked through some pictures of my speaker, my guest, and I'm going to introduce this unique guest. So it's Linda Dawn from Australia, and you can imagine we have late evening and Linda has early morning. Hi, Linda.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show. I
As
do
I
live in your future. I am on Saturday morning here.
Yeah, so you have weekend and I'm still in working Friday evening.
Isn't it
But
amazing how we can connect across the world like this?
it's
So
really
amazing.
amazing, and I like internet. That's why, because we can connect with anyone around the world. So let me tell a little bit about Linda, but actually she will introduce herself. She will tell her story because I want you to hear the story because I was listening and I was just like speechless. And Linda achieved a lot. So who is Linda Dawn? She's a author, number one international best-selling author. She will tell more of the book Connection. Let me name properly. Connection is the currency of happiness. She's a speaker, executive coach from Lean Coaching, and she founder of Three Hearts. And also, she's a strong person, positive person that achieved everything from scratch. And when we were chatting even before, it was interesting because I wanted to know how to actually introduce Linda properly without missing very important information. And then I found that she was awarded an honorary doctorate of education. That's why she's Dr. Linda, right? And also, yeah, and also people call her the Queen of Hearts because she created Three Hearts Foundation, and we're going to talk about this. And also, I see you said you were called the so girl who achieved the unachievable, and it's true. That's why I'm not going to talk a lot. So I'm actually going to give the word to my wonderful speaker, to Dr. Linda, and I want her to start from her story because we cannot cut the story from our podcast. We actually have to start from the story. Linda, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olena, for having me on. Hi, everybody. Greetings from Sydney, Australia, the place where the koalas are always eating and sleeping. It's a happy place to be for me. And it suits my quote. My quote is happiness is another form of wealth. It's your
Wow.
most treasure form of wealth. And it's so proven now ever since after COVID, isn't it? It doesn't matter how much access money you have,
Mhm.
if you're not well, if you're sick, your happiness taken away, and it is your most precious, your most treasure form of wealth. And wow, thank you for the beautiful introduction. And I was sharing with Dr. Elena, perhaps today I make something special because we both are
Yes.
in the positive psychology world. Usually I share these images on my pay speaking events, but because we both are in the positive psychology world, and I really, really like to be able to contribute in a way that to share positive messages with everybody. And especially we're across the world. She's from Canada, I'm in Australia, and I was at the World Congress Positive Psychology Conference in 2019, which I will share a little bit more later. So I just want to make a special sharing for everybody where I will share some clips with you, if that's okay. Now, before I share it, I just want to give you a tiny bit of warning. The first photo is probably the most embarrassing photo that you've ever seen on planet Earth. And also, just bear with me. I like to giggle a lot. That's me. Giggling is joyful. So I hope it doesn't bother you. That a lot of people think that business should be really serious. Well, I am to bring joy to business, and so if you feel like it, giggle with me. Giggling brings joy. So here we go. The most embarrassing photo on planet Earth. Ready? Here we go. Let me make the screen even bigger for you. Oopsie, we don't want it from the beginning. Here we go. So this is me. I was born at the end of the Vietnam War in Vietnam. I didn't have anything that kids have these days. I never even have color pencils, never have plastic toys. I only play with soils and stick. And I never knew what a computer looked like before I came to Australia at the age of 15. So it was a complete shift and change. I really didn't have anything much. Oops, I don't know what I did. Okay, here we go. So fast forward, this was my dream number one. Because as you could see, as a little girl, I didn't have anything much. I dreamed of having a dress. And what it meant was that I planted a seed in my head that after I came to Sydney, Australia, when I had the opportunity, I studied fashion design. I graduated and I opened my own bridal boutique in Sydney, Australia. I designed all the gowns myself. It was an
Wow.
amazing journey. But I tell you, I did not just sell the gowns. I did not just design the gowns. I literally designed the bride's wedding day as well because they all have special wishes and there's so many stories I share in the book. And this is me in Alaska 25 years ago. So when I was growing up, I only seen black and white TV, black and white photos. Never even have a world map. Never even have a globe model. Never know what outside world is like. Don't have a computer. Don't have email, internet, YouTube, nothing. So when my sister first came to Australia, when she sent her first photo home, it was the first time I saw someone with blonde hair and blue eyes. I was just mesmerized. And then since then, every day I dream about the world. And eventually I travel the world. I've been to, many, many countries. And this, of course, was my highlight. It was amazing.
I
Sure,
interrupt you
sure.
for a second because my dream is also to go to Alaska. You see, you already
Yay!
achieved your dream. Now it's a stimul to go to Alaska to achieve my
Yes,
dream.
now it's your turn. Yes, yes.
Yeah, my turn. Yeah.
Yes, it was amazing. I was so cold with pucking on, but look at these kids. They like in the singlets. They're like sunshine. They were saying this is the best day in the year for us, and it was just like amazing. It was just really, really amazing. And as I was growing up, now those were the first two dreams when I was like 5 and 7. This
Mm-hmm.
dream is when I was about 10. When I was about 10, I met the first teacher that I met that was calm and collected. She was young. She didn't teach me anything yet, but the minute she entered the room, she made me feel safe. Whereas my kindergarten teacher made me feel really scared. Back then, some of you might relate. She holds a cane, to catch naughty kids. And I was just so scared that I want to make sure that I'm a good girl. I don't get in trouble, that I couldn't learn anything. So by the time I was in grade 3, I think it was about 10 years old, um, I just thought I would like to help others to learn too, like this teacher. And so
Mm-hmm.
after I have my own children, I study primary teaching. I volunteer in schools. Wherever you want me, I'm there. So
Mm-hmm.
this is in the nursing home using paper craft to engage. It's like a form of therapy,
Yeah.
diversional therapy. This is for the men's group in leather work.
Mm-hmm.
This is my work, the embroidery that I did when I was about 10 years old in Vietnam. So I go to schools, my children's schools, and I teach them. And he was like, oh my God, that's amazing. The boys could not get started instead of the girls. We have a lot of presumption and, assumptions that, embroidery is only for girls. But it was the boys who couldn't wait to start it. So that's all my early childhood dreams. And after I came to Sydney, Australia, it was the first time that I seen art gallery. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even have color pencils, right? So
Mm-hmm.
eventually I studied art, visual art, diploma of visual arts. I graduated. This is my first exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
It won some attentions and I won more awards with my painting. And then my self-portrait in 2015, in another exhibition, I came third place. In 2016, my self-portrait was selected as a finalist for the Women's Art Prize on the theme of equality. And of course, I published my book. There's a little bit of backstory to the book. I published the book because of two children who took their own life due to cyberbullying. Initially, I wrote the book only for my own children. But after I wrote the first draft, two teenagers, one in America, one in Australia. The one in America is 15 years old, and she's so beautiful. She was so beautiful. I couldn't understand how it could happen to her. She has like tan skin, green eyes and brunette hair. I don't know her. I only saw her on the news briefly. I wish I kept that photo, but then I'll probably be too sad. I was logging onto my email, right? And then this image just like staring at me. And then it got my attention and I read her story and I just could not stop holding my tears. And then the very next day, I was in a Facebook group. I wasn't very active at the time. I was still very, private. The owner's son, who was only 11 years old, his buddy took his own life at the school. And I, again, could not hold my tears. And so I just felt compelled to share the book. And that's how I embarked on the journey. And the book has achieved #1 bestseller in Australia, in Canada, in UK, #5 in US, making it #1 international bestseller. And I was inducted into the International Bestselling Author Organization in America. And that's why I received the medal for that status. So it's very humbling from where I came from. I had nothing to be receiving a medal for the book. And it's just been really humbling. Not just that, it's not so much about the award, but the book has actually helped many people to become published authors, including academics. When we were in Melbourne for the Positive Psychology Congress in 2019, would you believe it? The whole conference over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Melbourne, the whole conference was a connection. The theme of the conference was connection. 1,600 delegates. Most of them have PhDs. I was the only one with the book titled Connection. And of course, we have Dr. Martin Seligman. Anybody who's in positive psychology will know him, the grandfather of positive psychology. It was such an amazing experience. It's been really, really humbling. And standing next to Dr. Seligman was one of the dreams. After I learned about him, I didn't know much about his work, but just something he talked about makes me feel resonating that is positive, because I've always been interested in psychology, but each time I kind of look a bit into it, I feel shy away because I feel like it's too heavy for me. And so then when I don't know what I heard the first thing about Dr. Seligman's work, I feel drawn to it, because then later on I learned that, it's about positive psychology, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about how to make things work when things don't work. And I'm all about let's be proactive and do something about it and use creativity instead of wait until it happened and then attend to it. It just didn't suit me. And so once I know about him, I just thought I wish to meet him one day. And that one day came. And I thought I had to go all the way to America to see him. But no, I didn't have to. He came to Australia. So that was amazing. Yes. So if you have a dream, if you do, let me stop sharing. If you do have a dream, just keep at it. So my keynote is follow your heart, follow your dreams.
Amazing story. Amazing story. Thank you, Linda. It's I see I have almost the same dreams, and some of them like I achieved, some still waiting for achievement. I also artist. I had a couple art shows. I like crafting, I like embroidering, and plus I'm writing books. So we have a lot of similar I would say features.
That's why I thought I'd make it a special one to share today, because we have so much similarity. Yeah,
And we
normal
started, we both started from zero, from scratch, and having nothing, actually coming to different countries with different languages. I mean, English language wasn't my first language. And what we achieved and continue to achieve, I think it's the most positive thing that happened in our life, because we continue to create, we continue to share, to help, and what you're doing, it's amazing. Thank you. Was the first part of our podcast, because now we're going to talk more about your book. And also, you mentioned already quite a lot, but also we have another special theme. It's about Three Hearts Foundation and the Queen of Hearts. So let's talk about your book a little bit more. What is special about this book? And I am like, becoming a bestseller, it's something very important, and it means the book has something really important and easy to understand, easy to accept, and easy to read, right?
Yes,
So tell.
absolutely. So when I first decided, the minute I decided that I will share the book with the world, I thought to myself, I am not writing for the academics, because you all have academic books and theories, and I'm in no place for that because I'm not a professor. All the coaches and healers are already taken care of. They already have on
Yeah.
their path and on their journey. And then I thought back to my own journey. When I first came to Sydney, Australia, I didn't know the language. I didn't have the language skills. I didn't have friends. I didn't know the environment. I had nothing. And at one point, at the age of 15 years old, I could not turn to my parents because they were already in their retirement age. It's a big age gap between me and my parents.
Mhm.
They're already in their retirement age, and they're going through the same challenges I do. And for them, it's even more than me. I couldn't turn to them in that sense, but I could always turn to them for love and comfort and support. And that was my biggest thing, is their love and support. But what I wanted was, I really wish I could read a book to help me.
Mhm.
We always turn to books, right? When we need
Yeah.
an answer, if we can't find a mentor, we always go books. Book is so important. And then I would go to the library, and I would remember, I shared it in the book too, I borrow like a whole stack, 15, 20 books. And there wasn't one that could really help me, because I was limited with my language skills. I was young. And a lot of the happiness book was written by the amazing gurus, or, amazing academics. And I just wish there's something simpler for me. So when I decided that I would like to share the book, I thought, I'm going to write it for the everyday layman.
Mhm.
Because I thought every academic, every experience, every intelligent people, so-called, is taken care of. I want to write it for the kids who are like me, didn't have the language skills, didn't have the opportunity of schooling, so that we can be helped. That was the thought. But amazingly, after I publish it, it turns out that the more emotionally in tune you are, was the one who enjoyed it more. The more highly academic, in tune into positive psychology, were the one who enjoyed it more. And so I have the world number one professor, the world renowned professor on intellectual capital, from Lund University, loved it, and wrote a beautiful acknowledgement. And many people have said to me, including doctors, I have a chiropractic doctor in America, said, Linda, your book is on my work table. Anytime, any day I feel wobbly, I just flip it open. Whatever page I open, that's the page I'll read. And that's the one that will get me going again, reboot myself, my mood. And he's not the first one who said it. Many people use it that way. And so to answer your question, yes, I wrote it in everyday language so that everyone can read. And it's not like a big theory book. It's not like a step how-to book. I refer to it like a storybook, because initially I wrote it for my children, you see. So it's just like a storybook, but with lots of lessons in life, with lots of wisdom share. It's all about how to make things work when things don't work. And there's 5 elements to help you achieve your happiness. And I'll let you read it.
Oh, I
There's
will read
5
it
F's.
definitely. Definitely, because and I know that people like to read stories, like stories from life, true stories, not fictional, even fiction. But I mean, fiction is different one. It's like for relaxation, but to learn something, to get something useful, it's true stories, and that's why your story became very successful, because you start from nothing, and then what you achieve, it's a lot. It's a lot comparing to life and achievements of other people who lived in wonderful environment, had everything for education, and at the same time stuck somewhere and never achieved anything you achieved. Or even like, I mean, it's difficult to find the value, but still, and you happy person, and you help other people to be happy, which is amazing, right? So that's the most important thing. And let's talk about the 3 Heart Foundation, because heart, it's actually, why 3 hearts, like why heart? It's like very also very touchy, because it's related to heart, and usually we say our soul inside of heart, right? So why 3 hearts? And tell about more about this story.
Yes. So 3 Hearts is an extension of my book. As I was
Mhm.
sharing the story, and if you read it at the beginning, it's all about me sharing my story, right?
Mhm.
And then as we go, I let you to connect with yourself. And then as we go on, the book is like a journey. As we go on, we realize that we need to connect with each other in order to have more happiness. And then as we go on, one of the last pillars of the book, one of the last chapter of the book is that I dedicated to all the volunteers around the world. And
Mhm.
so we need to connect with the whole universe, whether you're passionate about nature, whether you're passionate about animal, whatever it is. It's something out there bigger than ourselves. If we only focus just on ourselves, we feel so little.
Yeah.
But when we expand ourselves and connect with the whole universe, we're part of a whole, of something amazing, of something so
Mhm.
much more and gigantic. And so 3 Hearts stands for love and connection for yourself, love and
Mhm.
connection for each other, and love and connection for the universe. The more
Wow.
we practice of that, the more we become happier. And so 3 Hearts was launched because one step slower, three, the minute I felt compelled to share the book because of 2 children who took their own life, the minute I decided to share the book, the vision of 3 Hearts came. I think very visually. And so the vision was that if we have connection hubs all around the world, the story of these 2 kids would have changed. They might have still be here today. If they just reach out to anybody. Sorry,
Mhm.
every time I talk about them, I get a bit emotional. If they could just reach out to anybody at all, I feel that their story could have changed. They might would have still be here. And with that compelling feeling, again, I took action. I always take action, even it's imperfect. I launched 3 Hearts in September 2019 in Sydney. And in January 2020, I launched it in Ohio, in America. In March 2020, because of COVID, we launched it through Zoom like this, and it
Mhm.
extended to friends in Europe. And it's been really humbling because we have transformed lives. All of my work has transformed many lives and created many ripple effects. And I have not charged 1 cent for 3 Hearts meetings. And you can have a look at my website,
Mhm.
lindaduong.com.au. There's a page about 3 Hearts, just a brief background to it. And they share a few stories, and there's more. There's many stories on how the lives has changed. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And then recently, as an extension of that, so when I say extension, it's all related. It's all my story that keep evolving, right?
It's like
So
another
as a
level. Every time another level.
another level that I launched coachable with a J after H, coachable, COACHJABLE, coachable. So everyone's coachable. if you're open-minded, if you stay coachable, you will continue to evolve. You will continue to transform. Every single day, I learn something new. Every single day, I'm open up for more learning and more expansions. And so why coachable? Coachable is a platform for amazing experts like you, for the professional consultants and coaches to get clients easier, because we're all passionate to do what we do. But not all of us are online digital marketers. So I thought I want to help all the coaches to get clients easily. And also I want to help all the business owners to be able to get the help they need. Why? Because as entrepreneurs, we are all on our own. We're all on our own, and we suffer from that loneliness, that isolation, that critical journey that could lead to depression. And there are 300 million people in the world suffering from depression. There's a research showed that 72% of entrepreneurs have self-reported with mental health concerns. And so coachable. So three hearts vision and mission is to create a more connected society by eliminating isolation, loneliness, and the lead to depression. Coachable do that specifically just for business and entrepreneurs, business owners and entrepreneurs.
I notice you have like the sad part, like very important what you're doing. It's to help people to be successful in business. So it's not just like a business, because business brings money, and also business brings connection and more achievements and more satisfaction with life. Because honestly speaking, we cannot live like just like somewhere isolated and depend on nature anymore, because it's not our population, not our generation, not our normal life anymore, right? Like old people, let's say older generation, they live differently. And that's why I was looking through your webpage about business coaching, and you have different levels, you have different approach. So you have actually the individual approach, which is wonderful. And I'm glad that you do this. I had more speakers, more wonderful speakers, women who were helping other women to be successful, and we have podcasts as well. But of course, your approach is different, and your coaching is different, because we're all unique, and you're unique as well. That's why you have your own special approach in helping people be happy, be successful, and achieve the dreams. And I'm still remember I have some dreams you achieved, and I need to follow my dreams, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, all of my work is to help everyone to achieve their goals and dreams, to live a more fulfilled life. So with coachable, when we help each other achieve our goals, that's when we can live a more fulfilled life. Also, the goal with coachable is that together we help each other to provide employment. Because when the business coach can help the business owners to break through their troubles and their problems, they can win more, and they can eventually provide more employment. And so that's the goal. And so you're absolutely right. Back in the past generations, it was a lot to do with survival, from World War II. My parents gone through so many wars. My dad's gone through the Japanese, World War II, Japanese War. He's passed away now at the age of 98. He's gone through Vietnam War, and after we come to Sydney, Australia, there's Gulf War. Like they've gone through so much, right? So the past generation is different. It's a lot to do with survival. But now we are in a really, really wonderful place where we can create what we want, and so then therefore people have evolved more, people have become more, and so therefore it's no longer just for survival, but it's a lot more about fulfillment. It's a lot about about true happiness. What is really true happiness? So in the book I share that there's two layers. There's the external layers and there's the internal layers. The external layers are all your accolades, your achievements. Of course, we want to live more comfortable. We want to see the world. We want to, do all of that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have not addressed your inner world, I have met many people around the world. They could go all the way to Europe from America and they would still be whinging about their problems. They could be, somewhere in Alaska on the tour, but they still have their mind with the problem from years ago. So therefore, we need to work on our inner layers of happiness as well. So when we work on both, that's when we can really find the equilibrium and to actually find true happiness. So I share that in the book as well. So that's just to share that, as human being, we have evolved, we become more and more each day. And so then therefore our needs are different. We no longer work just for the money. Many people now aspire to look for meaningful work. And so every part of my job now, every day, is meaningful work. And so I don't feel like working sometimes. I feel like I'm at play all the time. And it is a blessing, and it is really a blessing, and it's also my way of giving back, because I have been blessed, even though I came from somewhere that I had nothing, but I've been blessed to be able to achieve all of my goals and all of my dreams. And so therefore now all of my work is to contribute back, to help other people to be able to live their dreams that I have, even though when I had nothing to begin with. And so yeah.
It's beautiful. Actually, when your words really like they have some synergy with my thoughts, my feelings. Whenever I write a book, I do it with pleasure. It's like with love, and I have inspiration, and I really do not see this as the work. I never look at this part of my action as a work. And sometimes my husband says, "Oh, you sitting and working again so hard." I said, "It's not hard. It's just like I'm enjoying this process." So our
It
podcast
is a
is
blessing. It is a
yes,
blessing when we're able to be able to do that. Yes.
yes. Our podcast is coming to the end, and I just need to tell our viewers and listeners that more information about Dr. Linda will be in information about this video. So just scroll down. Don't forget to press like and subscribe to the video channel. But also, please share this video with other people, because I'm sure you got so much of very useful and very good information. It's our experience, it's our knowledge, and story of Linda is really great story to know about and to learn something from the story. And again, if you need to talk to Linda, you can connect with her. All information will be just like under this video. So you're welcome to know about Linda more and talk to her, write to her, listen to her, because I know she has wonderful videos also on her some pages, and that's very important. Linda, thank you very much for joining me today. It was really great. And I was listening also with a lot of interest and learn also a lot. Also, I found we have a lot of in common, like how we think, how we look at the achievements and the progress, and you always want to live in full. And this is what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me on to share. I'd just like to share one tip before we go, if that's okay.
It's
Now,
okay.
this is a tip that I have shared on different podcasts, and I really hope that your audiences will make use of this, because it's so practical and it's been so helpful for many people. It's a little strategy I form. I call it catch, park, and flip.
Mhm.
This is to help you to combat any negative talks that you might have, any negative talks. Say, for example, if there's any time, maybe you can give me an example and let's demonstrate it. Do you ever go through a day sometimes that you just like get caught in a negative talk?
Yeah.
Do you ever have that moment? Can you give me one example? What is one negative talk that come to your mind sometimes?
Well, depends on situation, but sometimes I'm not, I don't have enough time to do everything I'm planning. And
Okay,
then
that's it. Right. Yeah. So can you see? And then, yeah. And then when you go, I don't have enough time. And then sometimes it's very easy to have this downward spiral, right? And the reason why I interrupted you is not because I'm being rude, sorry about that. It's because I want to show you to interrupt it and park it. So when you go through about the day and then there's a negative thought, I don't have enough time. Before it go, and then you go catch and do the action with me. If anybody who's watching, if you're listening while you're driving, don't do it, but just keep in mind. But if you're watching and if you can just catch it, because action anchors our memory. Yeah. Anytime you have a negative thought, oh, that was so stupid of me, or that was so silly of me, or why did I do that? Just catch that thought and park it. Okay. So the reason why I say park it is that I'm going to invite you to imagine like when you're driving to a shopping center and you need to park a car, all right, before you go into the shop, right? The reason why I say park it is because when you have a negative thought and I tell you don't think about it, you cannot think about it because we have emotions and our emotions are attached to our thoughts. And so you can't really don't think. But if I say just to park it, you know that it's okay. You know that you can come back to this later. So then it settles that attachment, a bit of psychology behind it. But this is my simplest way to explain to people, right? For the detachment is that you can park it and you know that you can come back later. So you can park that thought and then you're just going to flip it. So you do your hand and flip it. You flip it from negative to positive. You would say to yourself, is it true? Like, hold on, okay, I catch that thought. Hold on. I'm going to park that thought there. And then you're going to challenge yourself by flipping it. Is it really, do I always run out of time? Is it really every single day? No, not really, And so that's how you lead yourself from negative to positive. So my focus with Link Coaching's work is it's self-leadership. It's all about how to lead yourself. Because if you can lead yourself well, you can lead your business, your family, everything else well. So the 3-step strategy, the catch, park, and flip, is that you catch the negative thought when it happens, and then you park it. By parking it, you know that you're going to make time to attend to it. It's not like we are denying it the attention. It's not like we are being delusional to ourselves that we avoidance, it's just parking it so that you make appropriate time so that you can be present to do what you need to do. If you're seeing a client, you don't want to be distracted. Now that I'm on an interview, I don't want to be distracted, right? So just park it and then you flip it, right? Once you park it, you can go on, right? And if it still nags at you, then you can flip it. You can challenge yourself. Is it true? Is it really true that is it like that every single time? Then you realize it's not. And that's how you can lead yourself from the positive state of mind to the from the negative state of mind to the positive state of mind. And so I thought, I want to say thank you to everyone for listening, but I just want to share something useful, practical before I go. So thank you for allowing me to share that before we go. I know you were saying goodbye already.
It's wonderful, and thank you very much for sharing, for telling us the stories and giving us such a wonderful and practical information as well. And I hope I'll see you again. Probably we'll do some other podcasts because you're a wonderful speaker and we can learn from you a lot. Even doesn't matter of in what age of all listeners or viewers, we can learn a lot. Thank you, Linda, Dr. Linda. Thank you very much. The Queen of Hearts.
Thank you. We'll meet again. We'll meet again soon.
Yeah, so have a wonderful weekend. And I'm going to bed because I'm going to have weekend tomorrow.
Yay! Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.